Hey guys, how's it going? It's Chelsea Evans from Apple Blossom Way, and typically I come on here every Wednesday and I do a little live with you and I show you different techniques, different ways to use Prima products, project ideas, and just kind of get creative with you guys. And I was thinking about it and I thought, you know what, I've used a lot of Prima stuff in my home. And it's really upped it and made a big difference. And I've been able to create some like really cool stuff. And so I thought that I would take you guys for a tour. So as you come on, say hi, tell me where you're from. I am down here in Utah and it is snowy, snowy, snowy. It's been snowing all week and it's gonna keep snowing and it's absolutely beautiful. So we are gonna have a cozy hang out inside and chill live today. Hi Mary, hi Roz, how are you ladies? Anyway, so I am inviting you to come with me for a little bit different live. Like I said, I will demonstrate a little bit at the end of this live because I feel like I need to show you some things with the stencils and how I applied them to my dressers. I've had lots of questions on that. So I will show you that. Please feel free to ask questions. And we'll get started, and I'm gonna take you for a little tour of my home and just show you some things that I've used from Redesign with Prima that have really been an inexpensive addition but have made a big difference. So we're just gonna start from over here. My pups are just laying relaxing. Flip this around. So the first thing, well, the second thing. First thing is my tile. I painted my entryway tile over a year ago. This is using a stencil from Redesign with Prima. And I really love it. I made it look a little bit grungy and dirty because it is a side entry and obviously Maggie and Poe like to relax there. So that was an addition that I did with Wisal 1 Hour Enamel and Redesign with Prima stencils. The new stencils look awesome as well. The other thing was I added the wonderful, let's see, what's this floral called? Oh my gosh, Roz, if you're watching, help me out. But this is one of the floral transfers from Redesign with Prima. It's one of my favorites. And this is glass here. So I took the glass off and then I put the transfer in between the glass and the outside door. So it's kind of a fun little floral addition. And it just adds a little bit to the door when people come inside my home, but it doesn't feel, Wondrous Floral, thank you, Amanda. It doesn't feel overwhelming, and so I decided to add it. The other fun thing, I love adding little banners to my fireplace, which is kind of fun, and so I can use the stamps from Redesign with Prima and make different banners for holidays, birthdays, or anything like that, so that's a fun, easy craft addition. You can get these at most craft stores. Stuff like that. Yeah, the cold I've never had an issue with the transfer. It's been on there since it came out about a year, and it's held up beautifully. So the next thing, I did do my tile in here. I used a different stamp, not from Prima, when I did this tile, because this was the first tile I did, but I absolutely love the way that my tile looks in there and the way it's held up. So coming into this room, I have more Prima stuff. This is my entryway. And at first I just had this plank wall. I've had so many questions on it. We just found boards from Home Depot. They were like $2 a piece. And we cut them down into thirds, stained the different layers and sanded them, added a little bit whitewash and installed it. And then I added some raised stencils from Redesign with Prima. This is the 3D stenciling paste. That is really cool. It's great for raised stencils. One of the smaller stencils from Finnabair, a larger old stencil from Prima, but you can use anything. I even used some of the stick and style stencils and add just a little bit of cheetah into it, but I didn't do the whole thing. I did this corner here and a little bit of the raised stencil here and there because I didn't want to overwhelm it. It's kind of a more boho masculine feel, and so I just wanted just a little touch of something over the top. So you can have cool walls, plank walls, and you can add just a little something to them. It would even be beautiful if it was white on white. So it doesn't have to be multicolored. Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, so my cabinets in my kitchen are done in Wisal bone. 1 hour enamel. The bases I stripped down and I stained them using Wisel Black Walnut Glaze and sealed them. And then the back I added a piece of wood with the salt wash and paint and kind of just textured it. So it's kind of industrial looking. But yeah, I'm happy to show you guys things. I didn't steal any of the raised stencil on this wall. This wall really doesn't collect much dust and I don't have to wash it. Nobody really touches it, so I didn't. If it was on a wall that was heavily used, I definitely would. Let's see, what from Prima is in this room? Oh, I think the only thing in this room is just the insides of, this is my little game cabinet, but I did add, I think it's the algae transfer to the insides of the doors, so it's kind of fun when you open it up to the games. It has like a little pop, so it's not overwhelming, but it just adds a little bit. This painting was done with Redesign with Prima products, so this is, and Wisel products. This is just a canvas. You can buy your canvases at any craft store, but I like to go to like thrift stores, secondhand stores, and I get canvases that are either blank or have been painted on, and I prime them or use the gesso from Redesign with Prima, and then you can paint over the top of that. So then you're getting a large canvas for a couple bucks. This is the Folk 1 transfer. Wait, no, Folk 2 transfer. Sorry, this is the Folk 2 transfer, just a part of it. The rest of it's hand painted using Wisel paint. So that was kind of a fun addition. Thanks, Sue. The lettering on some of the boards. Oh, this is recycled paper from Recycled Treasures. Let's see. The other thing I'll show you this painting I did from the pastes, the acrylic pastes from Redesign with Prima, and some Wisel colors as well. So that was one painting that I did. Their acrylic paints are really awesome, and they won't crackle, so you can do them real thick. And here is my bathroom I just did. I painted the tile floor. I know it's controversial because some people don't like that I darkened the grout and I made it look kind of grungy. But I have 2 dogs and 3 boys. We wear our shoes in the house, and it's kind of crazy. So I wanted it to look kind of grungy and industrial, not perfectly white, because my house is not perfectly clean. This is one of the new stencils, raised stencils up here. I just used the chalk paste and the raised stencil, and I put it above my shower. That way it just kind of catches your eye. And then I wanted a little bit of color, but not overwhelming. So I added the brand new Vigorous Violet, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, I love the floor too. It's cool. Anyways, the Vigorous Violet stencil or transfer, just to add a little bit of color to that wall because this room was kind of very neutral. The other thing I'll show you is this is one of the mermaid transfer from Redesign with Prima. Again, I found this, it was like an old cabinet door or something, but I found it at a thrift store for $2. It's wood with a solid wood frame, and I painted it. I added the transfer, added glazes to drip. Sorry, that window is so bright, it's kind of hard to see. There you go. And a Wisel paints to kind of make it look like a painting. And it's one of my favorites. It has a lot of motion in it, and I think it's really beautiful. I have my little side suitcase with the transfers from Redesign with Prima. Those old cool leaf ones, super rad. This wall, brick wall, was done with the brick stencil from Redesign with Prima, which maybe we can talk them into bringing back. This is where we're gonna be later, and I will show you how to apply a stencil onto that. I've kind of moved things around so we can do that. And I hope I'm not making you dizzy. Yeah, I have all boys in my home, so I have to find balance. This is my room. This probably has the most Prima products in it. The dresser, I stripped down, and I did this with one of the brand new stencils from Redesign with Prima. It's probably my favorite stencil. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I want to show you guys how I did this because I've had so many questions. So let me see if I can set this down kind of. There we go. So it's not moving around on you. I started the stencil in the very center of the dresser. Like at this part right here. I took all the handles off. I started the stencil in the center, and then I worked out from it both ways, and I worked up and down. I did each drawer individually, always starting at the center and then moving out from that. If you start right at the side, unless you have the same measurements as what your stencil is, you're gonna have an uneven stencil. And I wanted my stencil to have half here and half here. So start in the middle, work your way out to the edges from up and down. Yes, I've painted fabric. Karen, the green chair in the other room is one that I painted. The walls here, this is paintable wallpaper here. On the sides is the raised stencil that I did using the 3D fiber paste and Wise Owl 1 hour ceramic wall paint, so that it kind of just fades out to the sides. That's a really fun thing to do if you want to add something to your walls. Do a little raised stenciling. Some of the newer stencils would be amazing with that. And you can do it in the same color, different colors. I'll show you. This is the other dresser that I updated. I painted this dresser a long time ago, but it needed a little something. And this is, Tammy, I will put all the stencil names in the description of this as soon as I finish. So I added the raised stencil to the sides. You can see I used a bright white because this has a little bit of a glaze over the top, so it really stands out. And then when I did the drawers, I did the same thing. So I started in the middle here, found my center, and then I moved out both ways. Now these drawers have a little bit more curve in that to them, so it was more difficult to get a crisp, clean stencil, but I don't mind it a little bit distressed and the way it is. I feel like it looks more natural. So those are my Prima products that are in my bedroom. I've got one more in here, my son's room, and then I'll take you guys downstairs and show you some other things that I've done with Prima products to decorate my home, and then I'm going to show you a little bit of applying a raised stencil to a piece of furniture so you guys can see how I do that. Okay, this wall was done. This is a faux brick. It's not real. This is done with the Redesign with Prima stencil, the brick stencil. I do teach a class on this, and the class is really valuable whether you do brick or not, because I'll teach you how to get that look. I'll teach you how to get different textures. See how this is really old and crackly? And then some of this is less. So I use different types of paint, different mixtures to be able to create that look and get the coloring. So I just wanted to show you all that. If you're interested, I do have that online. And this was another mermaid transfer that I did a painting out of. It's sitting in my son's room now. But you can do some really cool paintings and make the transfers your own. So think about that when you find a transfer that you love and you want to add a little something to. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Sue. You know what, everything is, I love all of it, and for different reasons. They're kind of fun. It depends on what you're decorating. Some things are my favorite sometimes, and some things I don't love. So I'm gonna turn you guys around, take you downstairs, and show you some more things I've used Prima on, and then we'll come and I'll do a demo for you guys. So I had to show you my wall because I love it. I did some trade with a friend, and he came and installed all of that board and batten in like 4 hours. He was so fast. In this room, I have a little bit of Prima just on the wall. I did a live and I demonstrated the stick and style stencils and creating kind of a bohemian, I don't know, industrial kind of grungy feel for my boys. I thought that they would kind of like that. They love orange, so. And then in here, this is the man cave. I've showed it to you before. Let me turn the lights on. So this sign I made, I used Redesign with Prima's the chalk paste over some stencils to get kind of a 3D look, and then just some old industrial junk I'd saved up. That's recycled paper. And then we've got a little bit of brick on this wall, and then just random patches of brick on the other wall, so it feels very industrial. And then the other Prima product I have down here, let's see, I lost you for a second. I did a live on this as well. This is the Industrial Mechanics transfer that I applied onto like pegboard, and then kind of painted the edges to blend it in. And then I separated it and put my big propeller in the middle. So, hello from Australia. Now it's pretty fast actually to do it. I do have the painting that I did live, or I guess it's not a painting, it's a transfer. that I did live in my bathroom down here. This bathroom's still getting finished, but I've had this transfer. They're just pieces of board that I put on an old window because the glass was broken out, and I applied the transfer to it. Now I have a beautiful, very unique ocean painting, work of art in my bathroom. So that's something else. And I would pay probably pretty good money for something like that. It's really heavy duty, nice. So think about those little old scraps of wood, old windows, and transfers and what you could do, because the floral one would be absolutely beautiful as well. And then this is the room that I just did the wall mural on. So we're still decorating this room. I've only had it painted. I have the mural up, and then we have our wolf dresser down here with the transfers as well. So we've got a lot of fun things from Prima to help me out, help me decorate my home and make it feel custom, unique. But I love it because I've done it myself, instead of spending thousands of dollars to have things done. You know, I buy a transfer and some paste, and I can update an entire wall and make it look custom and really, really neat. So think about these products in your home. Let's go upstairs. Let me give you a demo on this stencil, and then I'll let you guys go. Come on, Poe. Upstairs. I'll take Poe back with me. Oh, thank you, Sabrina. That's very kind. My husband says my home is like a merry-go-round because our furniture just is always changing. Poe's hit me with his tail. Let's see. Oh, another good thing that you guys might really like. Thank you. Okay, another good thing you guys might like. A lot of people have these arrows, these old, you know, made of wood. You can find them on Etsy, different places. These would be really fun to add a transfer to one of them, add some floral tissue paper or rice paper, and kind of get a whole different feel or look. You could also do that with a plank wall like we have here, and add some tissue paper to different planks and kind of give it a totally different feel. So I have, if you want to find a retailer near you, you can go to redesignwithprima.com and look for their retailers. You can also use my link, appleblossomway.com. There's a link there where you can get paint and Prima products as well. So I'm going to set you guys down in our little cell phone holder, and I'm going to show you how I am going to apply this raised stencil. Here, let's see if this is going to fit. You know what? I don't think that's going to fit the way I want it to. So we're going to set you guys here instead so that you can see what I'm doing. Maybe. Let's see if we can get it to work. Thank you for being patient, guys. I realize it's frustrating when you're watching a live and you got other things you want to do with your life. And here I am taking forever. There. Sometimes you have to get creative because your camera isn't working like you want it to. Okay, so I still need to paint my mirror, and I'm going to do something really cool on the back wall. This is my vanity and my office, and I love this vanity. I painted it. It's kind of like a sexy finish, I would call it, because it has 1 hour enamel, which is like a shiny satin finish, and then I use the chalk synthesis paint from Wise Owl, and it gives it a matte. So it's a satin and a matte finish both. And so I thought it would be really cool to take this, just in this tiny space here, to take this stencil and add a little bit of matte over the top to show you guys how cool that will look. So let me see if I can kind of adjust this light. Oh, it's so bright. Oh dear. I feel like this is, hopefully that doesn't fall on my head. It could, it might. We'll see. This could be a very exciting live for all of you. All right, so you can use tape. I'm not gonna use tape today, I'm just gonna hold it. But I'm going to use the Elegant Lace stencil. This is the one I used on my long white dresser. This is also the same stencil I used in my bathroom above the shower to kind of have like a little peek so that you could see. Yeah, that'd be cool to put some art on t-shirts. Maybe I'll make some cow shirts with my cow painting. All right. So the stencil, these are cool stencils. Prima has their smaller stencils than they used to have, which is really nice. They're really easy to ship. They're easy to order, and so it makes it less, more cost effective too because they're smaller. So this is the look of it. And I just have a spatula that I'm going to use, and I'm going to use the Iron Gate chalk paste. This is like basically the black chalk paste for Redesign with Prima. And we are just going to put this right over top of our already painted. So what I'm going to do first, whenever I'm lining up a stencil, I want to make sure that it's going to be centered, like I said. So I'm going to start in the middle. And I'm thinking, I don't know, I mean, I guess I could go, I can do one row just right here, or I could do 2 rows, which is kind of what I did on my other dresser. So let's do 2 rows. I think I'll like that better. So I'm just going to take my spatula, and I hope you guys can see okay if you can't. So the piece is not sealed. It's Wise Owl 1 hour enamel, which doesn't require a top coat. So I guess technically it's got a sealant in it. But even if it was sealed or wasn't, you could do either way. You could seal it or not seal it. Okay, so if I do this stencil like down here, let's see. And I'm gonna want my other stencil to come up like right here. Okay, now I could take, if I want this exact, what I'm gonna do is take measurements and make sure that I have it exactly as I want it centered, but I'm just gonna eyeball it. This is my piece and I'm okay with that. So try and make it as straight as we can. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna take my little bit of paint and I'm just holding it down tight. If you hold it down tight, you're gonna have a better stencil. You could do this with paint and use a stipple brush. If you have a little bit thicker paint, like the chalk paste I'm using right now, then a spatula is really great to use. So I'll put up my excess like up there, and then I'll just pull a little bit, and then I'll come over here, and then I just have one point where I can pull from, because it's thick, it's not gonna drip and run down my stencil. It looks a little more gray. When it dries, it's a little more black, I wanna say. So I'll just pull from my little paint stash up there, and I'm just gonna work my way down, holding the stencil really tightly. If I miss a few spots, that's okay. It has enough detail that it kind of looks cool, distressed. Yeah, the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get with it. Also, probably if I was doing this for someone else and I wanted it more precise, I would have measured it precisely and I would tape it down. But we're not doing that today. We are just painting mine. Okay, we're almost there, guys. And you don't have to make it super thick. Like, just a little bit of texture shows a lot on a flat surface. So you don't have to feel like you have to make it real thick or goop it up. Or I always think that when you use the 3D fiber paste, you don't have to make it super thick. You can make it fairly thin, and it's still going to be raised. If you're deciding whether to seal this before or after, it kind of depends on the look. See, I'm doing black on black, matte black, and my satin black, okay? Ooh, I like that. Ooh, that's pretty. And then it will dry darker, which I think is going to be amazing. Usually I have little paper towels, but of course I did not bring them. I was too busy cleaning my house this morning because I took everyone through it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that dry. If I was doing a large dresser or I wanted it really nice, I didn't want to smudge it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on, I'm going to let it dry, I'm going to go to the front of the dresser, start working on that, or the other side of the dresser, and come back. Because it's much better to let it dry and work around it, then try and match it up because you're gonna smudge it. No, it doesn't puff when heated, but it does have like a little bit of texture to it. I'll just show you. So this is you can also use like a Wise-All paint with salt wash in it. You can use a 3D fiber paste. I'm just using the chalk paste right now to add to this. But you can see it's pretty thick, like it's not gonna fall out. So it leaves just enough texture. Now, after you apply this and it's totally dry, I'm gonna take fine grit sandpaper, at least 220 grit, maybe higher, maybe 320 grit, and I'm gonna very gently go over that just so it feels smooth to the touch. It still have texture, but you don't want it to cut you. Like nobody wants to be like, oh, that's pretty, and then cut their finger on your dresser, right? So make sure that you just fine sand it to make it smooth. Another handy tip, which is lucky that I have these right here, is to have a Q-tip close by, okay? So I have a couple little spots on my transfer here, or on my stencil, I'm sorry, and I'll bring you guys up close. You can use the paste for anything. They're small jars, so I typically use it for smaller additions like this, but you can use it on your signs, you can use it on accent to furniture, anything. So I have my little Q-tip, and you can see like I've got bleed through, which most of the time I'm not even going to worry about it, but I thought it would be good to show you. So I've got a little bleed through down here, so I can take my little Q-tip and I can wipe off the excess. Now I've waited kind of long. This is already starting to dry, but I can just wipe it off. And then what I can do is I can have another Q-tip right by me that's wet, because that's not all, I let it dry too long. Anyway, have a Q-tip that's wet, and then you can kind of rub it and it will come off and leave your raised design on there. Or I can wait until it dries and then just take a little sandpaper and kind of go in there with my fingers. Or I can just not care about it and just leave it, because once you get the entire design over the whole thing and you're sanded, you're not gonna notice little, where the paint sticks up more in some areas and doesn't in other areas. Okay, so let me flip this around. I'm gonna put these other two, there we go. Let's see if it's dry enough. Like I said, usually I wanna wait longer than that and let it dry. Make sure my back's pretty cleaned. You can use a baby wipe to wipe these off after, or you can stick them in the tub, let them soak for a little bit, and then you can add that. You can wash it off easily. So this will line up with your other stencil you did right here. So I just kind of eyeball it, and then I'm just gonna hold it pretty tight. If I had more time, I would have let this other one dry more, but I'm not gonna worry about it. Like if it smudges a little bit or whatever, it's okay. And then I'm just gonna kind of if you're doing a really large project, let's say you're doing a wall with this and you know the wall has lots of curves, or you're doing like a beam or something, then I would recommend ordering 2 of these and have one that's whole, and then have one that maybe you cut into thirds or even half, especially for tile. I like doing stuff like that because then I have the ability, I don't have to bend it and move it. I have the ability to kind of just use the section that I want of it, if that makes sense. Let's go ahead and do this other side. Ooh, let's see if I'm gonna be able to, I just got my whole wall, you guys. Oh dear, this is going bad fast. Well, I'm gonna have to wash that off because I think I am out of this color of paint. Okay, well, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna wash my wall off. I'm gonna finish this, so I'm gonna take it. I'm backwards here. This is really awkward. Okay, so I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna continue my stencil over to this side. I might put one more row down at the bottom like my other one. I'll let it totally dry, fine sand it, and then we're gonna have a really cool matte and satin finish, which I think will be awesome. So if you guys have questions about anything I showed you in the video, besides hitting your head on your light, like I did, then please ask them and I will answer them. You can tag me or you can message me on my business page, Apple Blossom Way, and I'm more than happy to help or give you ideas or inspo, whatever I can. And thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful and beautiful day. See ya.